Welcome back to the Pub Pool Podcast. I'm Akila Pascal, and this is my best friend, Jack O'Shea.
I know, I friend-zoned you this week.
You friend-zoned me this week. That was like one of the first things I wrote down.
Yeah.
Jack had a cold or a flu or something this week, and you kind of had like that dehydration look going on where I could like really see your muscles.
Yes.
And while you were being miserable, I kind of kept being like, you're so sexy. And
yeah.
And you kind of were like, you told me you see me as your best friend right now.
Yeah. I was like, I'm so sorry. I know I got to get this out right now. The way I'm currently feeling, whatever you're thinking about, it's not in the cards. And I'm just sort of seeing you like you're kind of my best friend right now.
Yeah.
And it was funny, but there was a moment where you're like, are you fucking friend zoning me?
I was like, did you friend zone me?
Yeah. I was like, well, what's so bad? I told you you're my best friend.
Yeah, no, and I love being your best friend, but
yeah,
I also like being your lover.
Well, one of the things too that you always say to me is like literally since we first started dating, like after I said I love you, you would always every now and then you'd be like, do you like me? And I'd say like, yeah, I love you. And you go, but do you like me?
But you like me? It's kind of different.
Yeah, I kind of. But the answer is like, yeah, you're my best friend.
Yeah, I know you love me.
Yeah, but you can't be best friends with somebody you don't like.
Sometimes your friends can get on your nerves or whatever, but it's like, do you like me right now? I don't know.
Yeah, the answer's always yeah.
Just a thought. One day the answer's going to be no. You're going to be like, I don't like you right now.
Yeah, I was neutered this week. It is funny how when it's like, if my nose is running.
Oh, no, absolutely. I totally get it.
We still got to do some sort of sketch. It might be our next one just about the whole like man cold thing.
Yeah.
You bitches. You love bringing a sick man down is what you love doing. It's what let's call it what it is. It's what you love doing. How are you feeling today?
I'm okay. I'm good. I had a little bit of the chills and stuff earlier, but
yeah.
I'm so good in the hood.
Because I feel fantastic.
Yeah.
Because the statute of limitations is up.
It's up. So now you're feeling better.
Well, no, I assume I'm not going to get brought in for any January 6th stuff. I made it.
Oh, yes. Well, you're pardoned. You're fine.
I think so. I think they're basically going to be like, let sleeping dogs lie.
Yeah.
So there's a few of us. Me, I'm not going to name any of their names. One of them's Toby. They just never caught us.
I know. You guys just, I know you pinned it on that poor Olympic swimmer. You're like, that's him. That's not me.
Yeah, that poor guy. He's probably swimming laps in pools or in the jail if they had one.
I know.
Thanks for taking the heat, buddy. Anyway, I made it. I'm thrilled. Great day to be an American. What a week.
What a week. Yeah.
I never thought I'd wake up and be like, hey, you know that thing that we were really worried about?
Yeah, we were like, oh no.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Pelosi never figured it out.
Yep. Lady Gaga didn't find any evidence of the
Gaga
Capitol.
had no idea.
Gaga had no idea you were there.
Yeah, which is funny because I'm a pretty public-facing person, and they never connected the dots.
I know.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga saying that she was going to the Capitol to look for evidence herself was like top 10 pop culture moment for me.
That's the most insane thing.
Because I was like, what do you mean? We know it happened. What evidence are you looking for?
And also, like, it's one thing where it was like, was it Nicki Minaj or Cardi B? Sorry, I always confuse them. Which I think it's fair to confuse them, right?
Yeah, because they get lumped in, like, compared a lot. Yeah.
They're make very similar music and they have very similar attitudes. Uh-huh. So it's like, and they were the same time period. It's like confusing Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. But one of them was like, I'm going to do my own research.
Nicki Minaj with the vaccines, because she said that it was like her uncle's balls got big or something like that.
Got smaller.
I thought it was they got large.
They changed size.
The balls changed.
We know that the size was different, but that's fairer to me. Like everybody jumped down her throat being like, what? You're not a doctor. It's like, yeah, but she can read what other doctors said. Lady Gaga's not CSI. What is she? Was she going to dust for fingerprints?
Maybe. I trust the Gaga.
You know, I think she was trying to go there to tamper with the crime scene.
Maybe she was there.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
She wears many costumes, many disguises. Sometimes she's wearing meat.
You know what? For like her first half of her career, we didn't really know what she looked like.
She kind of looks like a Trump supporter. Like she kind of looks like
I don't know.
I mean, like she kind of looks like I could see her sort of not when she's all dolled up.
Yeah, not when she's in Gaga, but
doesn't have a face on.
When she's Stephanie.
When she's Stephanie, she kind of has that sort of everyman look.
Yeah.
Faces in the crowd.
Yeah, and she's really small, so she would have just snuck right past everyone. So maybe Gaga was there.
That's my favorite part. We didn't watch it together, but Ocean's 8. Mm-hmm. My favorite part of Ocean's 8 is that they didn't try to recreate Ocean's 11 where it's like, hey, everybody's going to kind of be like pretending to be somebody they're not. And they're all sort of like playing characters and doing cons and stuff. They're like, no. Women are really good at being not noticed, period.
Yes.
So they can just sort of walk in.
Women aren't suspicious.
Not suspicious at all.
Are you kidding?
So it made for, let's be honest, it was a less exciting heist scene. You did get a lot more of the fun cattiness beforehand.
Yeah.
The heist scene wasn't as fun because
I thought it was fun.
It was very realistic.
We got a Kardashians cameo. Like, come on, we're at the Met Gala.
But it was just it was such a quick heist scene because it's like, hey, in reality, we're just going to go in and take it and no one's going to notice because it's like Awkwafina's 5'2". Awkwafina. Who has the diamonds? I'm not looking at a 5'2" girl first.
I'm not suspecting Awkwafina has the diamonds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And free at last though. This is great.
Free at last. Yeah. I know. Yeah. I don't know though. Maybe Lady Gaga had something up her sleeve. She surprises us always. It's like when Kanye was confused that she was the creative director of Polaroid. He said, I like some of the Gaga songs.
Yeah.
The fuck does she know about cameras?
What does she know about cameras?
I don't know, but apparently she's the creative director for Polaroid.
I work with cameras every single day. Constantly. That's what we do is through cameras. I do not understand how cameras work. I've never understood it. People, and it's just, I'm not grasping, like people have explained it to me and there's one element of it that's magic to me.
Yeah.
And it's okay, I get all the mechanical processes, but like, even if you go back to like the first cameras or whatever, I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I understand like how video comes about, but I'm like, but
with
picture. But I'm like, but the picture itself, I'm like,
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, well, all video is, here's a fun fact if you don't know it. All video is pictures.
Yeah.
So for us, there's roughly 30 pictures taken, shown in a second. Looks like we're moving. It's magic.
Yeah. It's the moving pictures.
It's moving pictures, yeah? Talking pictures. See?
Talking pictures. You see the flick?
It's a fad.
Yeah.
Talking pictures. Live musicals. That's the business.
Yeah.
That's what they would say.
That is what they would say.
Should we just jump right into sports gossip?
I think so. I think let's start. I feel like a lot of people come for that. What if we start with that so we could trick you guys into staying for the rest of the pod?
With the rest of our really enticing conversation.
Yes. I mean, come on. We already covered January 6th, the Gaga, cameras.
What else?
We're best friends.
Yes.
And it's been like 5 minutes. So
I was not sexually attracted to Michaela this week. That's what we covered.
He was repulsed by me.
Not repulsed. Just kind of like...
You were indifferent.
Like the way I looked at you, the way I looked at this mug.
Yeah, you were like, you know what? That broad can keep her shirt on.
Or take it off. I don't care. The whole point is I was indifferent.
If I took it off, you would have been like, I don't care.
It would have done nothing. That's my point.
It would have done nothing.
There was nothing
You're doing
you could
absolutely nothing for me right now.
No, you weren't doing... It wasn't a negative, but it wasn't a positive. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
I had a runny nose.
So man cold wins. Any hoops.
Yeah.
So for Sportscast of this week, we're going into Super Bowl in the next couple of weeks, but we're 3 weeks away.
Yeah. So this week is the championship.
Okay.
So it's basically, this week's the semifinals.
Okay.
Yeah. So the two final teams from the each conference play each other. The winner of those games will go to the Super Bowl.
Okay. So yeah, so we're a couple weeks away. And I wanted to kind of touch base with a lot of our viewers who are like me in the same boat. We don't know nothing.
Don't know nothing.
So I put on our Instagram story, like, hey, ask us some questions. What do you need explained before the Super Bowl to kind of help you out with some jargon, some conversation during these Super Bowl parties?
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
So we're going to, I think, read off some of your guys' questions, and Jack is going to give us some explanations.
Yes.
Okay, so a question I'm actually seeing a lot of is, what is the safety?
What's the safety?
What is the safety, girl?
Okay, so that's actually a little bit confusing. I'm going to break the confusion really quick because safety is a term used twice in football. Safety means two things in football, two very different things.
Okay, because I thought you said that Jonathan Owens was a safety.
He is. He's a safety. So a safety is a position on defense. So like the way that a quarterback is the position on offense, a safety is the name of a position on defense. The safeties, there's usually two on the field for the defense at each time. Mm-hmm. We'll get into the differences between them way later. Let's start with what a safety is. A safety, they're usually the last like line of defense for the defense. So they're the furthest back away from the ball at the start of the play.
Okay.
And if you think of it like this, it's like basically their job is to be the final line of defense. So it's like, it's like, oh, the running back or the wide receiver got by everybody else in defense. Like, don't worry, we're safe because we have the safety to get him.
Okay.
That's what the safety is. They're just sort of the insurance policy.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Because when we're talking about the position of safety, I
Yeah.
always assumed it just meant like they're riding the bench.
No.
And
no,
like it
they're on
was like,
defense.
oh, like if someone gets out, like we have a safety, put them in. Like that's what
No. Well,
I
it's,
thought it was a very nice way of saying bench rider. Okay,
oh,
interesting.
yeah, no. No, Jonathan Owens plays.
Okay, that makes way more sense.
He's just not a superstar.
Okay.
Like the way Christian McCaffrey's a superstar.
It's not a superstar position.
No, there are superstars. Kyle Hamilton for the Ravens. Like he's just Jonathan Owens again. Like he's an NFL player. Anybody who took that as being like, I'm not saying that they're bad at football. They're one of the best players in the world at football. That's why they're in the NFL.
They're in the NFL.
But he's not of the 32 or 64, however you look at it, starting safeties in the NFL. He's not like top 10.
Okay.
So he's not a star. But,
Okay.
but he's still an NFL safety. Anyway, so that's one definition of safety. The other definition of safety is it's a scoring play. And so like the way a touchdown is or a field goal is.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's a safety. So like, it's so funny. It's like, I'm not going to get into touchdown because like how many points is a touchdown?
4.
So you're way off.
Is it 1?
So never mind. Oh,
Is it 2?
Anybody who watches this and is doubting the validity of you actually having no idea what we're talking about, like on SportsCenter, they were like, "Do you actually know nothing?" And it was like, "No, she doesn't know nothing. She knows less than nothing."
I can't emphasize enough because even when I do learn something, my brain throws it away.
I know.
I like can't keep it if I try.
I know. That's why I have to explain things with gossip because it's such a.
And it works because now I know that Jonathan Owens is a safety.
He's a safety. And what does the safety do? They're the last line of defense. They're there for safety.
Okay.
Well, the reason why I asked you that though is because the touchdown, a lot of people would say 7 points because that's what you.
Oh, it's more. Okay.
It's yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I love you so much. You're my best friend. But no, so a touchdown, it's actually 6 points. And then when you kick the extra point, which they almost all do, and they almost all make it, it becomes 7 points. So people think of it as 7 points because it's basically automatic. If you score a touchdown, you get 7.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
But so like a field goal, you get 3 points. And you get 3 points with a field goal when you kick it through the upright.
Okay.
A safety is actually the only time where the defense scores.
Okay. The boys in the back?
And even that's kind of confusing, like because I guess the defense could intercept the ball and then run for a touchdown. But
that's just like that just
yeah,
happens.
let's just pretend that's nothing.
Yeah.
A safety is a defensive scoring play, and that happens. It happens when the player carrying the ball, which is usually the quarterback,
Okay.
is either tackled in their own end zone
Okay.
or runs out of bounds in their own end zone.
Okay.
So basically, if you're the defense and you think of it like this, like the goal of the defense is obviously to keep the offense from moving the ball forward to get closer to scoring a touchdown or kicking a field goal. If you're really good, you can tackle them behind the line of scrimmage so that they're losing yards and getting further away from potentially scoring. And if you're really, really good and your guys are kicking butt, you can take them all the way to the other end of the field where it's a safety because it's like, yeah, well, there's nowhere else to go but here. Like you just basically beat them up so bad. So
okay, so it's just like when defense gets like all the way up the front lines.
Yeah. So
basically, okay.
If you are an offense and you are 100 yards, or if you're an offense and you get tackled in the wrong end zone, the other team gets 2 points.
Okay.
And that's a safety. But
okay.
Here's where I'm like, it's so funny. A safety is the least common type of scoring play.
Okay, so it's like a little special treat every now and then.
Special treat. But here's the thing. It's actually not that rare. It probably happens once a week.
Oh, okay.
In some game. A safety is scored. But unlike touchdowns and field goals where it's like, it's rare to find a game where a touchdown or a field goal isn't scored. Mm-hmm. But so yeah, safeties are rare. Here's where safeties get a little bit tricky because this is sort of a rule change. So you get...
Okay.
If you're the quarterback and I'm on defense and I tackle you in the end zone, safety, we get 2 points. My team gets 2 points.
Wait, sorry. Repeat that one more time for me.
So if you're the quarterback
Okay.
and I'm on defense and you snap the ball, and so you're in the end zone.
Okay.
And then I tackle you while you're in the end zone, my team gets 2 points added to our score. But in addition to that, you also then have to kick the ball off to us.
Okay.
So like usually for football, when in football, it's like if you're on offense, if you are the quarterback and you threw a touchdown, woohoo, we get 6 points, usually 7 points. The next play after the touchdown, after the extra point, is then you kicking off and the other team gets a turn.
Okay.
But if I sack you in the end zone, we get a safety, we get the ball now.
Okay.
So we like skips a turn. Even though we just scored, we get the ball back.
But because you did the special thing.
Because we did the special thing. We got a safety. So that's what a safety is. Did I explain that well enough?
I think so. Because I think I get it more now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because a lot of people were asking that because I was seeing a lot of that. The Chiefs intentionally took a safety this weekend.
Yes, they did.
Why would they do that?
Okay, so let's back up into the game. The Chiefs beat the Texans this weekend.
Okay.
And at the end of the game, they intentionally took a safety.
Okay.
You haven't seen the game, right? No. Why would you have seen the game? You don't know a touchdown's 6 points.
Did you see Tana Moshe's latest vlog on YouTube?
see how it feels? Yeah. Okay, so at the end of the Chiefs-Texans game, the Chiefs took a safety, which means they gave the Texans 2 points, and then they gave the Texans the ball back. And it's like, why would they do that? So they did it for 2 reasons. Number one was to waste time on the clock. So the Chiefs at the time were up, I believe, 23-12.
Okay.
So 11 points. In football, when you're up, sometimes you'll hear people when they're watching football or like your friends watching football or the announcer or something saying it's a 1-score game or it's a 2-score game or it's a 3-score game. And basically that means how many times does the losing team have to score for them to either be tied or winning the game?
Okay.
So at the time, because it was 11 points, it's a 2-score game. The Texans will have to score twice in order to win the game.
Okay.
So it's a 2-score game. There's 15 seconds left on the clock. The Chiefs have to punt the ball, and they're backed up near their own end zone.
Okay.
Their options were either to just punt the ball like normal, and what you risk is the Texans catching the punt and immediately running back for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And so now it's a 1-score game because they just scored a touchdown.
And now we still have not enough time left, kind of.
That would happen. There'd probably be 6 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
Which
football seconds are the opposite of dog years, I feel like, where it's
yes,
they go on so much longer.
Oh, sweetie, if you think it's longer, wait till you watch the final 2 minutes of a basketball game. I almost turn it off. It's unwatchable because it's just purposeful penalty, timeout, just they're constantly stopping it. Anyway, football seconds. There's 6 seconds left. They're only down 1 score now. And you're saying the Chiefs will probably win. There's only 6 seconds left. At least once a season, there's a crazy comeback like this. It happens all the time. You want to mitigate against it. So instead of punting the ball, risking the Texans coming back, the Chiefs decided to have their punter, when he catches the ball, instead of punting it, just run around and try to waste as much time running around, running away from the
try to catch me.
Exactly, playing tag as possible. They were okay, try to catch me and see how much time we can waste. I believe, so when it started off, when the ball was snapped, there was 15 seconds left. And I think by the time he ran out of bounds in the end zone, there were 9 seconds left. So he wasted 6 seconds.
Okay.
Which that alone, it's that's at least one full play that the Texans no longer have. Mm-hmm. And because they were up by 11, now they're only up by 9. It's still a 2-score game. The Texans are still going to have to score twice.
Okay.
So that's the basics of it, basically being it didn't change how many times the Texans would need to score, the way they would need to score, because it's still a touchdown and a field goal, but they just erased those seconds. Here's the second reason why they did it. They were going to punt from, I think they were at the 20-yard line or the 10-yard line. When you kick off from a safety, you're also kicking off from the 20-yard line.
Okay.
You can kick the ball a lot further on a kickoff than you can on a punt.
Okay.
So they're literally they're basically saying, hey, we'll keep it a 2-score game. Mm-hmm. We'll shave 6 seconds off, and they have to start with the ball further.
Okay.
So that's why they would do it, because
that makes sense.
Because it does make sense of it's basically like soccer.
Yeah.
It's like, is there ever a circumstance when you would score an own goal? No. It makes no sense.
Yeah, but it seems like there's more strategy with the clock.
Here's the biggest thing about football for the kind of like this audience is football is really nerdy.
Yes.
It's closer to like Pokemon than it is to soccer. Like if you think about it, it really is. Like I don't know Pokemon well, but like any of those like kind of card games where there's like, I'm going to play this bonus, like what's the Dungeons and Dragons thing? Like there's a lot of like kind of subjective, like you can sort of read into it.
Yeah.
And, well, what if we do this trick thing? There's not really like trick plays in soccer. I feel like it's basically all just like misdirection, right?
Yeah, no, it's just kind of, soccer's just all reactive. Like you're just going.
Yeah.
Like
in football, the reason why they stop all the time, it's supposed to like simulate war. That's what the theory of why they created it. It's supposed to be like, okay, we're kind of simulating. And then what if we move this troop over here? And then we throw it's a very nerdy thing. And even the most manly men who watch football, it's like, if they're really into it, you have to be a nerd.
Yeah.
So remember that the next time, call them a nerd the next time your boyfriend, husband, brother, anybody is geeking out about football.
Yeah.
You're a nerd.
Be like, you're a nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then somebody asked, which I also agree, does Patrick Mahomes get special treatment from the refs?
So the answer is yes.
Because the Chiefs are what has convinced me that the NFL is scripted.
And it's fair to say that. And it's in a lot of like, diehard football fans would say that's the case. And so yes, Patrick Mahomes does get special treatment from the refs. And if you think he doesn't, you're a Chiefs fan. And it's obvious. But here's the thing. It's like, okay, does he and why does he? That's the real question.
Yeah.
Why does he?
Why?
So the most obvious answer is like, this takes place in other sports, namely basketball, where it's like Michael Jordan and LeBron James currently today, like LeBron James clearly gets special treatment from the refs.
Yeah.
And why would he get that? It's like, there's a bunch of other factors. There's literally star power of like, Mahomes is the face of the NFL right now, the way Tom Brady was. Mm-hmm. And I'll get into that in a second, actually. If you're a ref and you don't call a penalty, if you miss a penalty on Mahomes, you're going to be facing a lot more heat for it than if you miss a penalty for the backup quarterback Carson Wentz or some other random player. Like if there's a like roughing the passers is the penalties this weekend that people were really like, what the hell? They don't call that. They're worried for their own jobs. They're worried for themselves on social media and stuff, just getting raked over the coals because you just let the face of the league get hurt.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But like speaking of like Tom Brady, so he was the face of the NFL until Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
They actually changed the rules a number of times to protect Tom Brady. Because there was one play, I'm forgetting when it was in the 2000s, where basically Tom Brady hurt his knee, tore his ACL.
Okay.
And when Tom Brady gets hurt, when Patrick Mahomes gets hurt, it hits the NFL's bottom line. They lose money.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't watch the game, the last game of the season for the Chiefs, Carson Wentz was playing. I didn't watch it because I was like,
like why?
They're going to lose.
Yeah.
Who cares? You want to watch the stars. You want to watch Josh Allen play Patrick Mahomes. And if Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes got hurt before this upcoming AFC Championship game, like you're kind of bummed.
Yeah.
They're not as many people are going to tune in. Not as many people are going to care. So the NFL has a financial incentive to protect these important players. And it just so happens that in football, all of the important players are the quarterbacks.
I was going to say that's the only position until like recently in football I could name is the quarterback.
Same.
I don't know anything else.
Most people can probably name two positions, quarterback, and then you just
the kicker
or tackle or something.
I
like
would
just
never.
But I'm saying like
tackle.
A random thing where they're like, yeah, my brother played tackle.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's one thing is like they have a financial incentive to protect them. Tom Brady getting hurt, they changed the rules to protect the passers.
Yeah.
When Tom Brady hurt his knee and he was out, the NFL literally changed the rules because they were like,
we can't have this happen.
We can't let this happen again. If he gets hurt, we all lose money.
Yeah, and then we're all diva downs.
Yeah. So now there are different rules for how you can tackle, how you can touch the quarterback versus how you can touch every other position. Mm-hmm. And you might be like, oh, that's really unfair. And it's like, yeah, everybody on defense agrees with you. And almost every football fan agrees with you. But everybody is totally aware, like, hey, I'm making a ton of money playing defense. I wouldn't be making as much money if the league was making less. So that's why you protect the quarterbacks. So
okay.
In general, quarterbacks are protected. Mahomes is like the quarterback of the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So they're definitely keeping an eye out for it a little bit.
Okay.
Now here's where it gets into the like, okay, other aspects of the Patrick Mahomes thing. Just watch him walk after the play. Patrick Mahomes, like normal. He like walks like he's like on high heels. Like, you know,
he's a toe walker.
You know that SpongeBob scene where it's like Patrick has like stockings on?
Yeah.
Like leggings on?
Goofy Goober?
The way Patrick walks is how Mahomes, like he walks like on his tiptoes. He looks like he's wearing heels.
Yeah.
So when somebody pushes him down, it does look like really awkward. Like he definitely flops.
Yeah.
But even when he's not flopping, he falls in a way I've never seen a grown man fall before. Ever. Like ever. So there's him purposely flopping, and then there's just the fact that when he gets tackled, he looks like a flop.
Yeah.
Because he is wearing imaginary high heels when he walks. So that's one aspect.
It becomes a new state of matter.
That's one aspect of it for sure. And then, yeah, it's like, if you put yourself like in his shoes, knowing I'm Patrick Mahomes, I'm the LeBron James of this league. If I go, when I get hit, my team gets good things happen for my team. It's kind of hard to be like, don't do that.
Which is literally all the shit that soccer gets is the like, oh, they're always falling and this and that. Yeah. It's like, well, yeah, because you get an advantage.
Yeah, and it's and the whole thing too is like.
Also, Patrick Mahomes has State Farm on his side. He's just fine.
He's just fine. No, I mean he'll be fine financially for the rest of his life, absolutely. But yeah, it's you're right with the soccer thing where it's like every time I see a soccer player flop, I'm like, that's not American. But now it's a part of like every, except for baseball for the most part, it's like it's part of every sporting thing. It's like, no, just win. Whatever you can do to win. If you have to pretend and be an idiot. Hockey
players are the only men left.
Hockey players really are the only men left anymore.
They punch each other for funsies.
Here's the other confusing aspect of it though too. Almost like all of the calls where you're like, wow, I can't believe they called that for Patrick Mahomes. Technically, they're correct. Mm-hmm. It's not like the refs are like, oh, penalty flag for targeting, which is when they hit helmet on helmet. You're not allowed to do that anymore. It's not like they didn't hit helmet on helmet. It's just football is one of the only sports that I can think of where there's a penalty on every single play. Mm-hmm. It's very subjective.
Yeah.
Football. So it's one of the only sports where like it's up to the ref's discretion.
Yeah.
Whether or not to call.
There is something to call, but they just don't always call it for everyone else. Or like whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's sports gossip.
So that's sports gossip. We'll keep touching on more hot questions because just so we can prep everyone for their Super Bowl combos.
Yeah.
Because if you're like me, you have nothing to contribute.
I got a question for you.
Okay. I might have an answer.
Or not a question, I guess. So everybody was real worked up, obviously, about TikTok getting shut down and then brought back.
That was a day.
That was a day. You know what's funny though? I think like you and I were in the same position where I was like, it's coming back in like 4 hours.
Yeah, I like knew it was going to come back.
But like didn't know. Like we knew, but we didn't know.
But like I saw like Vine die in my hands.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I've been here before.
Yeah.
You know, and like I just thought it was going to happen again.
Yeah.
But that day, so like the last day of TikTok, I basically was on TikTok all day. Like because literally my screen time was so high because I was like, I've got to get every last second on the off chance that this is the last I'm going to get.
I know.
And it was like everyone was like confessing their secrets. Everybody was like, please follow me elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like my Instagram following went like not my person, but like who I was following went way up because I was like, I've got to follow all my favorite creators or I'm never going to see them again.
Yeah.
It was just, it felt like the violins playing as the Titanic was going down.
It really did.
It was really dramatic.
And me, someone who doesn't actually use TikTok besides posting, it was just a Saturday.
Yeah.
I had a good Saturday.
And I was kind of sad.
I know. There was sort of like a weird thing in the...
But the rest of the night that I didn't have TikTok in that morning.
Oh my God.
It was kind of nice. And it was kind of like Instagram kind of felt different that day.
No, it wasn't nice. I literally just told my dentist this because we were talking about the TikTok thing. I was I was editing something, and then like an hour after TikTok ended, you turned to me and you said, in almost an ominous way, like I was hard at work at something, and you said, I'm bored.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no. And it kind of felt like
we haven't had a relationship like without TikTok.
No, we haven't. Like it's such a,
I'm an iPad baby.
you're an iPad baby and the iPad was taken away.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I was like, I'm used to like, well, yeah,
And suddenly you had a toddler at a restaurant that didn't know what to do.
that was
My
like,
iPad
was
died.
like, I need distractions.
It was like,
And I was literally like, am I going to get a lot less work done? Like going forward because baby's bored.
yeah, but like the next morning for me was kind of nice. Like before you woke up, I was just sitting on the couch, was watching the news.
Yeah.
I kept trying to open TikTok over and over.
You kept doing
like,
that instinctual, isn't it crazy?
I literally was like, I have a problem.
Yeah. No, it's an addictive thing. Anyway, the reason I brought it up is TikTok got all the press. Do you know what else was killed and not resurrected
What?
this weekend? Farmville. Do you remember Farmville?
Yeah. That was a Facebook game.
The Facebook, it's what walked to that Candy Crush and all of these other,
Yeah.
hey, can you...
They killed Farmville?
Farmville officially, they shut down all the farms.
Wow.
So what's your relationship with Farmville?
I didn't really play.
I never played either, but I assume you, like me, had many aunts who did.
Yeah.
I
think my best friend played, like, yeah.
There was one summer I remember where two of my aunts weren't really talking to each other. And it was like because of something with Farmville. And it was like, all I remember is like, I'd log on to Facebook and one of my notifications was always like one of my aunts being like, hey.
Like inviting you to play.
So that they get free crops, I assume, or something.
Yeah. That kind of like how you did with Uno Mobile. You were like, can you play so I can get more coins?
Yeah. Where it's kind of like, hey, can you accept this invitation? I get this.
By the way, if you saw our TikTok Uno Mobile deal,
yeah.
Jack has legitimately not put down Uno Mobile.
I can't stop playing Uno. I can't stop playing Uno Mobile.
Like, I was like, because it's like, of course, everyone loves Uno. Like, yeah, it's a fun game.
This is different,
but like,
though.
it's been different. And it's like, every time I look over, I'm like, are you playing Uno Mobile?
This is
not part of the brand deal. BT
No.
Dubs. Our deal's over. This is just straight up.
It's really,
you have been playing Uno Mobile.
It's
nonstop.
really addicting because you're playing against other people, but it's not like regular Uno. Like there's different like points.
Yeah.
And it's a 3-minute game. So
you have like friends on the app now.
Yeah. Well, you can play teams. Anyway, back to the Farmville thing now.
Oh, yeah.
It was so addicting. And I just know people were working on these farms. And I kind of started thinking about like, okay, what was it like when some of these people who were so invested for years
Yeah.
were like, I'm walking away from the farm.
I know.
What's the biggest farm right now? Like
I know. It's
at
like
the time of death.
It's like the middle-aged women who have played all the levels of Candy Crush.
Yeah. And they're like, what?
And the
now?
developers have to keep making it for them.
But at least the developers are making more.
Yeah, but Farmville, it just...
Like, is there somebody who was like, no, I've been working my farm.
I know.
I've been tilling my farm, sending notifications to my Facebook friends for over a decade now, and you're just ending it.
That would be crazy.
Like, that's got to be so, like,
there's got to be
prayers
someone
up to
out
them
there.
because,
Yeah.
like, that's got to fuck with your head so much.
I put in all this work and I was just
Like,
gone.
oh, was this all for nothing?
Yeah, I know. Also, it's like, this is more of a rant on the TikTok thing. And it's so funny because it's like, coming from me, it sounds like it's like you guys don't get it because I'm an influencer. I like barely use TikTok, like on my own thing. Like I don't use TikTok.
You
like to post.
you view, but you don't post.
I'm a
post,
viewer.
but I don't view.
Yeah. We're the opposites.
Yeah.
But like, it's just like there's just like such a weird lack of empathy for everything right now. But like, obviously there was all of these people who were like crying on TikTok being like, it's gone. Like, this is a platform I built. I've quit my job. I've done this. And it's like, yeah, because like, this is the digital age and people are like, oh, boo-hoo, you have to go get a job. And it's like,
this was their job.
This was a job. Like, someone worked out. Like, that's awesome that you can
entertaining you.
Like I have like such a rant on like the influencer space versus like Hollywood or whatever, where it's like people are like always just look down on like influencers, creators, whatever you want to call them. And it's like, no, the beauty of it is that it can happen to anyone.
Yeah. That's what made it really big.
That's what makes it so awesome is that you could be a nurse in Idaho and now you're a nurse influencer. You could be a fisherman in Florida. Like, it could literally happen to anyone. That's the coolest thing.
I will say,
and so
though,
everyone being like, about it. I'm like, of course they're sad. They built this thing and it's this awesome high of like, I have a community, like it's this and that. Like it's awesome. Of course the people are sad they're losing it.
I will say, and this is actually one of the reasons why TikTok is so successful. It would be, I would feel even worse though if it was like they're shutting down Instagram or they're shutting down even like Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, because all of those are platforms where you start from zero.
It's really hard to grow on any of those platforms.
You grow, you're hoping some people kind of see it and they share it and it's piece by piece. TikTok is the one where you could have 0 followers, have just downloaded the app, you post something and it gets seen 30 million times.
Yes.
Because the way that they divvy it out and they decide this is a good video or not. But I don't think it's going anywhere at this point.
No, I don't think it is either.
I think
God, hopefully not. Also, I can see when you actually open my TikToks or not.
Yeah. I love it. Well, you can see when you share it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. If you actually open it in the messages, it then pops up as I shared it to you.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I actually love that though too, because I always say, Michaela sent this to me when I'm sharing it to somebody else.
Oh yeah.
Then when that happened, I was like, okay, cool. I've always credited. I've never been like, I just found this. I'm stealing.
I don't think. It's more the like. If I'm like, I know you haven't watched the videos I sent you.
I feel like I'm pretty honest about like, no, I haven't seen it yet.
No, I know you are.
Yeah.
Because when you then later come sit down next to me, I'm like, did you watch the video?
And I'm like,
watch the video, bitch.
Which one?
Yeah.
That's my always question. Which one? You sent me 14 before I woke up. I'm like,
well, then watch all 14.
Yeah, and then I watch all 14. I give you my review. Say good, bad.
I'll send you 5, and then there's like one that it's like really good, really important for you to watch.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, watch this one, and then you won't watch the other 4.
This is modern relationships?
Yeah.
This is what modern, not modern dating. This is what modern relationships are. Sharing.
I'm sharing.
The harvest.
Yeah.
It used to be you would go out and you would reaping or sow. I think reaping is taking it in. It's collecting.
You reap what you sow. You sow your seeds.
Yeah, you plant the seeds.
And that's the sowing.
And that's sowing. And reaping is picking up the plants so you can eat them.
Yeah.
You used to go out, your people.
My people.
Mexicans. Used to go out and, get all the grapes and whatnot.
Yeah.
And me, the man, you'd share it with me.
Yes.
And now you share TikToks.
Now I share TikToks.
Because we buy grapes at Albertsons.
Yeah.
We don't buy grapes, actually. Our dogs ate one time.
Yeah, we're kind of which is crazy because you love grapes.
I love grapes. I love all grapes. There's only one good type of grape, and that's all grapes. I like them all.
It's a grape in my belly.
There's a grape in my belly. I love grapes. Both colors. But I'm colorblind with grapes.
One of our stupid dogs somehow ate one of the grapes when we didn't even have grapes. I don't know where it came from.
I have no idea.
That is one of the biggest mysteries of all time.
I know.
We had to rush him to an emergency vet. Probably one of the more traumatizing moments of our life.
Yeah, because it really did seem like they're like, this is it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then it turns out if you just pay a lot of money,
they could save your dog.
They're fine.
But speaking of stupid dogs, our sweet dog, Ducky.
Yeah.
We brought her to the groomers today.
Yeah.
Paid nice upwards of $50.
I paid $50 and that's including tip. The reason why you're like, hey, that's pretty cheap, I think, for a dog groom.
Well, I paid a deposit already.
Oh, you already put a deposit in?
Yeah. But yeah, so, she just requires like a bath, nail trim, like that stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
You went to go pick her up today, and then she somehow, between you picking her up to home.
So I went to pick her up, and she was so excited. And as I picked her up, I felt like a little bit of wet, a little bit of liquid. And I was like,
just a little warm.
Wasn't even warm. She was like, okay, she peed. Because she's one of those dogs.
She's an excited peer.
When we come home, if we've been gone for a few hours, when we come home, the first thing we do is run outside and be like, come on. And then because she's just going to pee the second we touch her.
Yeah.
Which if it wasn't out of joy, would be more annoying. But it's like, she's so happy. She can't control.
Excited we're home.
Angry at her about loving us? Yeah. No. So I pick her up. She's really excited. She's pee a little bit, whatever. As I'm walking, I notice on my jacket, I was like, oh, that's weird. There's poop on me. And I don't know when, but sometime between literally the groomer letting go of her leash and her running and picking up to me, she just became covered in dog shit.
I feel like she ran through it.
I think she did. And she sat on it. It was on her belly.
I think it was from another dog. I think she laid on it.
Yeah.
And it got it between her toes.
And that was where I had the moment where I thought I can either go right back in and say, hey, I think she sat in dog shit in your place, making everything null and void.
Yeah.
Essentially when you get your car washed and then it rains. But I was like, I don't want to do that.
I know.
So I just like, I can't put her back in there. She was so freaked out.
She was going to lose her mind if you had brought her back to the groomers.
So we had to do the wonderful thing of bringing her here, getting her back home, not even letting her touch the ground, and immediately putting her in a bath, grooming part 2.
Yeah. She got 2 baths today.
She did not like it.
No, she not. She was like, I thought I already did this today.
Tough day for Ducky. Tough day for Ducky. And it got underneath her paws too. That's the problem.
I know. That's why I was like, it literally like got between her toes. I was like, are you like, we literally, you just came from a bath.
You just came
I just paid for a bath.
The first time we ever got our other dog groomed, I remember I like spilled ice cream on him. Like first day.
He came home from his first haircut.
I was like, I'm sorry.
And then you had ice cream, and then you literally just dripped ice cream onto his head.
Yeah. He got sticky.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that was a fun thing. I feel like it's only fair for me to bring it up because if I'm going to talk shit about the people I don't like, I have to also address the things of the people I do like.
Okay.
I think it's fair. Everyone's turning against Kim Kardashian right now.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Did you see that?
I did not.
Because on Inauguration Day, she posted a photo of Melania to her story.
Melania's a queen.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like Melania is kind of null and void in this situation.
Guys,
we all know what this is for her.
Guys,
Melania,
we love Melania.
There was no caption, no nada. She posted Melania. I think she was posting her fit.
Yeah.
And people are like, I knew she was always a Trumper. I was like, she hosted Hillary fundraisers.
Yeah, guys.
I think she's also tight with the Trumps now, I think, because it's actually really good for her to be, because she's like she hasn't really gotten anything done too much with Joe in office, like getting people out of jail.
Yeah, because I don't think they would.
No, like she like met with Kamala and stuff, and they did like a couple things where I think they met like with some prisoners.
Do we
and
really
stuff,
think that Kamala was going to do anything though?
No.
Let's be honest.
But when Trump was in office, even though she was pretty actively like not on his side, he still like let her come to the White House, and they like got people out of jail, like they were doing. And so I think it's like, as much as everyone wants to hate her, I'm like, it's good she gets work done.
Yeah.
By kind of being kind to them. I don't know.
Well, also it's like everybody's perspective is different. So it's like people whose like dads are hated.
Yeah.
Like that happens all the time. Like just any public figure, like half of them are basically hated. And their kids, it's like maybe their dad's hated for valid reasons, but they're like, my dad's always been great to me. So I like him. Everything was like, Donald Trump's always been great to Kim Kardashian. It's weird. It would be weird for her to be like, but I don't like you.
Yeah.
Even though we've working together have saved a lot of lives.
Yeah.
It's like, of course you're going to have a good relationship with the person who helps you save lives.
It'd be kind of shitty of her to like not do it for the greater good.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion on it. And also, I just feel like she wanted to show off Melania's hat. She was wearing a hat.
Wearing a fun hat.
She was wearing a fun hat.
Cool style.
You know, Trump's lips couldn't quite reach her with the hat.
It's the same hat that the hat man wears when you take too much Benadryl.
Yeah.
Melania's in your dreams. There's also like something too. It's like if you go through the list of like first ladies, like who's the most important which first ladies had the most impact? If I was going to just I'm going to name 4 for you real quick.
Okay.
Here are my top 4 first ladies who actually had the most impact while their husbands were the president.
Okay.
And this is a note where I'm going to go. So Joe Biden. Dr. Joe, she definitely had some input in. I don't think Joe pardoned anybody. I think Jill pardoned a lot of people.
I thought you were being sarcastic for a second. I was like, honey, I think Jill is the president.
No, that's what I mean. Like, Joe Biden was the president. So
she was the first woman president.
Actually,
you're right.
Because Edith Wilson was basically the president when her husband was out of commish.
Yeah. What if the line of succession went like president, first lady, and then vice president?
We would be in a monarchy. That's basically how a monarchy works. Or if you go to the firstborn, Eleanor Roosevelt, and then Hillary Clinton. Like those are the 4 that had real fucking they were in it. They affected policy. They were working. They were basically acting like vice presidents.
Yes.
Melania.
She ended cyberbullying. Remember?
I'd say she's number 46 and 47 and the least effective, least wanting to have input first ladies.
I'm pretty sure she's not going to live in the White House. And I've been saying this since because actually there's been headlines where she's like, I don't know, I might stay on Mar-a-Lago. Like, I don't know. And I'm like,
when she first moved into the White House, they're like, what do you think? She's like, it's not as nice as my home.
Yeah.
Why am I here? Like this is a downgrade.
I literally, like, when he was running again, I was like, I think if he wins, Melania's not going to live there. She's going to be like the first lady to be like, I'm not going to fucking live here.
I mean, it
There's
is
people always in my house. Get out.
the best comparison for us. And you can tell me if we shouldn't show stuff. It's like when I was considering working for Mr. Beast, a big part of it was, hey, are you cool moving to Greenville, North Carolina?
And I was like, no.
Yeah. So basically, most of the time when I was there, the things that they were pitching me was like all of the sales pitch that the Mr. Beast team, which was right, was show your wife this. This is what makes Greenville great. What had nothing to do, I wasn't even interviewing. It was just, the only thing it had to do with was, would your wife be willing to move to Greenville, North Carolina from LA? And I was like, that's what the whole time too. They knew that's the big factor in whether or not I come or not. That's basically what happened with Melania, where she's like, my husband took a stupid fucking job.
Yeah.
Now I have to live in the fucking White House.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I don't know if I'd want to live in the White House. If you were like, I'm going to be president, I guess I could do it for 4 years. It'd be fun. But
do you think it'd be like,
but honestly, after a year, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm being watched everywhere. I can't do this.
Yeah, you're right though. It's like, why are we hitting on Melania? Hating on her.
Yeah. She doesn't want to be there.
No, she has nothing to do with it.
She girl bossed way too close to the sun. Now she's the first lady.
She girl bossed her way into history.
Yeah.
She'll be in the history books.
She literally wrote a book and was like, yeah, I don't really agree with my husband. That was the takeaway with it.
And everybody was like, yeah, that's what we thought.
Yeah.
Nobody is looking at them being like, you know why they got together? They finish each other's sentences.
Yeah. I do think that they probably do have great conversations.
Certainly.
Because she's very smart.
Yeah. And he's a really good conversationalist.
Yeah. Like, I don't think that their relationship is like fake in the way that some people say that.
I don't think so either.
I do think they have a real partnership, but I do think that it's an interesting partnership.
They're not, I think, you know what? It's kind of like us in a way where it's like,
we just hate each other, but I'm just kidding.
No, where it's like, no, they have really good conversations and stuff. Their interests are very different.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that what she wants to do or wants to watch is anywhere near what he wants to do or wants to watch.
No, I don't think
so. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I was like, Kim can post her hat.
Yeah.
We've all been making Melania edits on TikTok, like being like, this diva is going to come back.
I do have to say, I think that Melania is going to get a lot better treatment this time.
I think so too.
I think they're basically going to be like, yeah, why is anybody, I don't know.
Yeah. I do have another inauguration topic I'd
Give
love
it to
to cover.
Give it to me.
So I have a take I need to share.
I have no idea what you're about to say.
Everyone's hating on my best friend, my sister, Lauren Sanchez.
Because she was styled out? Because she had the bra out?
Yeah. Okay. Everyone's like, I know Jeff was embarrassed. Oh my God, I can't believe she wore this to the inauguration.
Yeah.
Okay. Fucking first of all, Jeff was not embarrassed.
No.
She's a hot ass lady. That's why that's his wife. Are you kidding? How do you think she got him?
You kidding me?
Her last ex-husband was worth like $450 million. Like and then her baby daddy is
Tony Gonzalez, one of the greatest tight ends of all time in football. Travis Kelce's position. Played for the same team too.
She is a certified hot girl.
Absolutely.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
There is a reason she is in row billionaire at the inauguration.
Yes.
That man is not embarrassed. I think he's a little bit more like you, where he's like, because anytime I'm like, oh, is this a little much? You're like, girl, wear it. You're like, you look hot.
Why do you think I'm married?
Yeah.
I like when you're the hottest person in the room.
Like, if you take a really good like bikini picture of me, you're like, why are you not posting this on Instagram? Yeah. You're like, you are not be like, oh my God, like my wife. Like,
no.
Also, too, all the billionaires, they're a bunch of nerds. Let's be real. They're a bunch of dorks.
Yeah.
And so while maybe the people who are judging her online are like, that's not exactly what's like a trendy or appropriate outfit. They don't know that.
They don't give a shit.
They see hot girl. They go, hot girl.
Yeah.
She had Mark Zuckerberg breaking his neck to look at that.
I know.
That bralette. Like,
I mean, and who can blame him?
And who can blame him? We were all looking. She looked like, why were we worried about basically the first lady wearing a hot ass pantsuit when you have a former reality star who's being inaugurated?
Yeah.
And then you have Theo Von falling off a fold-out chair into Logan Paul's lap.
Apparently he's really upset about it. No, apparently he was like, this wasn't funny. He was like, this is a time and a place. They messed with the chair. They told me they messed with it. And he's like, there's a time and a place for everything. And that's not
It wasn't this.
You have Jake and Logan Paul invited to the inauguration. And by the way, not like, hey, stand in the Capitol, in the rotunda, where it was a invite-only inauguration.
Yes.
They got invites.
They were inside.
They got
had
invites.
The downsides. They were inside. And you guys are worried about Lauren Sanchez's lacy bralette. She looks good.
Yeah. That's so funny.
We should all be taking a page out of her book.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that's the thing is these there's a reason she's now the wife of a billionaire because she's doing that.
We've talked about it too. There's a lot of couples that are very good comparisons for us. Just looks wise alone, extremes, they're us.
They're us. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, I love them.
Like if I started taking like a bunch of, not that Bezos is on steroids, but he's done some stuff.
Yeah.
And just really bicked the head.
Yeah.
And just was like, let's freaking go, brother.
Yeah.
I'd be Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. So Lauren Sanchez is my girl.
Yeah.
Like
she's goals.
She's goals. Because not only is she like, obviously I was just talking about how hot she is. She's a journalist. Mm-hmm. She can fly helicopters.
Which is crazy.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Like she's awesome.
No, she's an icon. She's an absolute icon.
And so I don't know. I just want to be like, why are we hating on baddies?
Yeah.
You guys don't get the vision. And that's why you don't have a billionaire husband.
Isn't it so funny how it's like, so here's it's not really sports gossip, but one of the there's this one woman, she played volleyball or basketball or soccer at USC. Mm-hmm. And she has 2 baby daddies.
Okay.
One, Blake Griffin.
Okay.
Who you guys know, he's the basketball player.
Yeah.
And the other one is Matt Leinart, who was the USC quarterback. I don't know if he ever won the Heisman Trophy. I think he won the Heisman Trophy. First round NFL. He was an NFL quarterback. He's a really, really big deal. One of the greatest college players of all time. Very, very famous if you watch football. Those are her 2 baby daddies. I can only imagine how funny it is going to like any sort of family event with other kids where it's like, not only is his dad, Matt Leinart, here, but his stepdad, Blake Griffin's here. What the fuck? Can you imagine going to Lauren Sanchez's like son's graduation?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my dad, Hall of Fame tight end, Tony Gonzalez, who like, like a few weeks ago was like Travis Kelce's debatably, like arguably the greatest tight end of all time.
Yeah.
In that debate is Tony Gonzalez, who's in the top 4 at the very least. And then not to be outshined, but here's basically the richest man on earth.
Yeah.
He's my stepdad.
It's my stepdad.
Like, how does your dad could be worth $1 billion and he looks like an idiot compared to Tommy's dad and stepdad.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? And that's Sanchez's bows.
Yeah.
Good for her.
And that's why it's like, oh, so everyone wants to give her shit. She knows what she's doing.
She knows what she's doing.
Maybe we should start taking some notes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Do you know she on the front of Jeff Bezos' yacht?
Yeah.
Is a mermaid that's shaped like her.
Damn right
on
it is.
On the bow of the yacht.
Damn right it is.
He loves that woman.
You want my favorite thing about Jeff Bezos is?
What?
We're really jerking off the richest people in the world. But
I know.
You know my favorite thing?
We could also talk shit on the billionaires later.
Oh, yeah.
We got opinions. But I'd say Bezos is my favorite of billionaires.
He's your favorite of the B?
Yeah.
He's currently in your power rankings?
He's
my number 1 right now too.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about him, guy works out alone. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
He's just a guy.
I'm very anti-trainer, gym trainer, even though I am your trainer. I was
going to say, you're my trainer.
But for me personally, I feel like Ron Swanson and Home Depot. I think I've said this before where it's like, I know more than you. Yeah. Why are you telling me to do this? And that's a dumb exercise. It works the same muscles as this one. This one's more efficient. Him working out alone, I was like, I completely changed my view on him. Not that it was ever like super negative.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say he's number 1. Who's your 2 in the power rankings? Because
right now mine is Zuck.
Same. Which is crazy.
Because Zuck used to be my least favorite.
Yeah.
But his kind of like whoever his like little PR stylist person is right now, he has a new team. He's wearing chains. He's wearing sneakers.
Just wearing a chain alone.
And suddenly he like knows how to talk. He's no longer like, hey guys, I'm grilling meats.
I mean, there's a chance it's because he spent so much money. Literally, it's like, this is what media training, $1 billion in media training does.
But it worked. He's commissioning statues of his wife. And like, I've been liking him more lately.
And so Elon Musk probably at the bottom of yours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Elon Musk, I think he'd probably be 3 for me, but just because we look at him different. I look at him as more of a, like, he's the Thomas Edison of our time. Where I'm like, that's like kind of crazy what he does.
Because I'm like with Elon, I used to be more neutral on him. And now I'm just kind of like, it's a little bit of the Taylor Swift thing too, where I'm like,
Yeah.
do I just like her/him, or is
the
it like
fans.
his fans, her fans? I'm like, is it that?
His fans are so annoying. I agree.
Yeah.
But him, I'm like, it's like I've said before, it's like, if he died today, there's a chance we'd be like, okay, if you really look, if you can find a stat to do it, he's in the top 10 most important humans to have ever existed.
Possibly, yeah.
He might get us to be interplanetary, basically created the electric car or popularized it more so.
Popularized it, yeah.
There's like free internet in disaster areas. Like there's just all this.
He
put
does,
money on the internet. Like all this crazy shit where I'm like.
No, he has done good things. Yeah. I don't know.
But that's what I view it that way. Whereas you view it more of the like, because I totally agree with you where it's like fucking try hard. Anybody who like idolizes, God, people just suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I know. Yeah. Cause it's like, I know a lot of people like obviously hate Jeff Bezos just because they don't like billionaires, which I'm like, I understand that argument or whatever.
Yeah.
But so much of it is the like the way Amazon's being run and this and that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys know Jeff Bezos hasn't been running Amazon for what?
Also,
like 8 years at this point, it feels like.
Also, I heard a good analysis of like, oh, if there's like bad practices at Amazon or something like that, where he was like, I think 3 million people work for me. In some city, you named some city where it's like, this city has 3 million people. Do you think it's fair to expect there to be zero sexual harassment in that 3 million people?
Problems.
It's like, no, there's going to be every crime possible when you have 3 million people.
Yeah, it's kind of an impossible task.
It doesn't mean it's an Amazon culture.
Yeah.
It's a state.
Which is always my defense with Gavin Newsom, where I'm like, it's impossible to run California.
I agree. I'm also very anti-Gavin Newsom.
I know you're anti-Gavin Newsom.
I think he's the
I go back and forth on how I feel about him in certain aspects.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. The people who love him were
sorry. This is a political episode on accident.
You know, the inauguration has happened.
Yeah.
He slicks back his hair like he's Draco Malfoy. Why don't?
But I kind of love that.
But like that's what I mean. Like the people who do love it are typically the people who I would expect to hate it. Being like, why does he look like a villain in a James Bond movie?
But I kind of like that he's not pretending to be the everyman. You know?
I mean, he was real quick to put a hat on during the fires.
Yeah,
he was real quick to roll up his sleeves that he's never rolled up in his life when the fires came in. Hey, give me a hose. Like he knows what he's doing with that. He's like a trust fund kid who's friends with trust fund kids.
Yeah.
And they made him the governor.
Yeah.
And he's just like, the goal's president. Fuck California.
Yeah.
So I don't know, as someone who used to live in California, every day I wake up and be like, Newsom. Be like, oh, gas is higher? Oh, was it something to do with the oil industry? No. He added another 60 cents per gallon because fuck you. And I was like, Newsom. It was like Newman, but inside of a Newman. But I did it with Newsom.
Newsom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like his vibe sometimes.
it blows my mind. Blows my mind. I get the exact opposite from him. Like,
I think he might have pretty privilege in my head.
I guess maybe, and I'm immune to that, but I just see him more as like, you are literally the rich villain in a movie, and all the people who typically hate the rich villains in life, we're just the rich people in life, really dig him, and I'm like, this is so confusing to me.
No, it's a little funky.
Yeah, I think he's screwed. I think he's out.
I think he is too.
Yeah, good for America. Okay, how do cologne commercials exist?
Because it's all about curating a vibe.
But the vibes they make, so we've been watching a lot of the news, like we said. Every couple of commercial breaks, there's an ad for a cologne. Mm-hmm. I can't smell the TV. That's
why they have to show you a funky ass commercial.
What they're showing is usually things nobody's ever been. I don't know what it smells like. I don't know what Johnny. I can. And here's the thing: like Johnny Depp's one of them. I'd have to guess he smells bad usually.
Yeah.
Why would Johnny Depp need to smell good?
That's true.
I feel like he smells like old cigarettes.
I was gonna say, he definitely smells like cigarettes.
Maybe some I feel like he smells like a New York City cab.
Yeah.
So having him, I'm like, I don't want to buy New York City cab smell.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
And I'll be walking like over a volcano and I'm like, does that smell good?
But every now and then I'm like, okay, well, then it'll be like Nicole Kidman. And I'm like, okay, I feel like Nicole Kidman smells good.
I feel like she smells good, but I feel like she smells like her perfume, which is what the commercial is for. But I don't know what her perfume smells like. And now we're back around the circle.
Yeah. But like maybe like the setting she's in is like it's like a classy setting, or it's like a it's all about what you were watching. It's like this is what it's like trying to say. It's trying to describe a color.
Yes.
Where it's like I can't tell you you can't smell through the TV.
But it's trying to describe a color, but you're trying to sell the color through your description.
Remember when smell-o-vision used to be where they're like, one day we're gonna have smell-o-vision.
Well, that was my point, which was, did the cologne perfume, they had the most innovative, I think, advertisement in history, which is my mom would always have these magazines. She would rip out the page like, hey, here's one.
Yeah.
And I would smell the page. It was the cologne or the perfume. That's the peak. That's as good as you. And then they're
That's
like,
peak advertisement.
Nobody's buying physical things anymore.
I used to open them and I'd like rub the pages on my body.
Yeah.
Sometimes get the ink on my body, but
it was worth it to smell like that magazine.
Yeah, now I smell like Selena Gomez perfume.
Yeah.
Thanks, Teen Vogue.
But I mean, I just would love to see the marketing agencies when they're like, what do you mean nobody's buying the physical copies of the magazines anymore? That's where we sell our product.
That's true.
And now they sell it by putting Channing Tatum in front of a green screen in like a apocalyptic desert. Like what is maybe Big Red Gum? Like that's kind of what I'm imagining.
Yeah, maybe it's more like a cinnamony.
Remember Big Red?
Yeah. But not for me. I don't like it.
Who was that for?
I don't know.
Is there a people who just are like, I not only love the taste of cinnamon, I want to be cinnamon. A lot of things really, it's good to associate yourself with Christmas because you're like, we're not going to make the most money, but it's a consistent, it's December. Like pumpkin spice, Big Pumpkin was like,
Big Pumpkin.
Let's get the month of October. Why don't we own October?
Yeah. Because I'm not even like a pumpkin spice latte type gal.
Who is?
I don't know.
Trendy people.
That became the face of the white girl movement.
But that was it's because it was trendy.
Yeah.
It's been now replaced with the last one that I can remember. I'm sure I'm way out of date. The last one I can remember is those the cups, the mugs, the water container that people really.
Oh, the like the Stanley cups.
Stanley cups. Like that's the latest of the. Let's get all the white teens.
Yeah.
If you don't have this, you're not cool. So
if you're trying to sell any product, if you can get it into the hands of white girls.
Yep.
White teenage girls, you're in.
Yeah, that's what they want. That's why
you are officially, congratulations, the biggest industry this year.
You just made a ton of money because they're going to tell their moms and dads, if you don't buy me one of this,
I'm going to scream.
I won't be included at school, and then I'll start cutting.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm serious. Like that's basically what it's all just sort of, they know, and it's really unethical. Stanley Cups, which by the way is the trophy when you win the NHL.
I know.
Stanley Cups was like, we can basically extort parents to buy these.
So I want to start a new segment.
Okay.
Because there's nothing TMZ wants more than for everyone to read their Ben Affleck coverage.
Yes.
So I'm going to start a segment called Ben Watch.
Okay, we're at Ben Watch.
Ben Watch. Because
I'll try to make a sound effect soon.
Ben Affleck does nothing but wants to be left alone and have a cigarette in Dunkin' Donuts.
Ben Affleck, I think, is the most normal celebrity.
Literally, he just wants to be left alone.
I love Ben.
He wants to make his movies and be left alone and date whatever Jennifer is in his vicinity.
Yeah.
But TMZ is like, everyone wants to know what Ben is doing. So they're constantly just taking pictures
of invading his public space.
This normal man who's doing absolutely nothing. Because it makes more sense when they're like, oh, this celebrity, look at her wearing this mini skirt. She's doing this or that.
Yeah.
Like, what's Britney Spears doing? Ben Affleck doesn't do anything.
He's not going in public.
No.
Like to be photographed. He's not going in public to promote something. He's going in public because he has to go from point A to point B.
Yes.
And that's through public transport.
And they somehow get a photo of him every time. Getting miserable. Like,
my God, he just looks so miserable.
He looks so miserable all the time.
He's exhausted. They're constantly taking pictures of him.
So I just want to start covering all of their coverage that they have of Ben. So this week.
So what are the watchers watching?
Shit, sorry. So this week on Ben Watch, Ben Affleck, military vehicles parked outside of his house.
What did Ben do? What did Ben do?
Here's the photo that goes along with it this week.
Looks like this photo. If you're not watching on YouTube, I'm just going to describe it. I'm pretty sure it was just taken while he was at a red light.
Yes.
Just a casual Ben's at a red light.
He's got his sunglasses on and his collar kind of popped. He's kind of sunk into his seat a little bit.
He looks like he's undercover, trying to get away from paparazzi.
Avoiding the paparazzi.
Trying to make the paparazzi photo as least juicy as possible.
And then here's the military vehicle that was parked outside of his house.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so I read the article that warranted a Ben Affleck article.
Yeah.
They were just doing investigations from the fires in the area.
Are they investigating Ben?
Nope. They just parked outside.
So basically, here's what happened.
So TMZ was like, story, gotta write this one.
Not only when Ben does something is it news, but when things happen in his vicinity, it's Ben news.
It's Ben news. And I just want to thank Ben Affleck for carrying TMZ on his back.
He kind of is.
And like literally, besides us who are kind of weird Ben Affleck people, who's clicking on these every week if it's not about his relationship?
I feel like because we talked about it a while ago where it's like Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, and Jennifer Aniston. It's like they just own. Oh my God, when I was at Walgreens, it was like they were on 3 covers. Brad and Angelina. But people always forget Ben Affleck and whichever Jennifer were always on the covers of all those things too. I think that the difference is like Brad Pitt and Angelina and Jennifer Aniston stuff. They've basically all figured out like, hey, here's how I cannot be seen by paparazzi ever.
Yes.
And Ben Affleck was like, I got kids and I got to go to Dunkin' Donuts. Like, there's no way for me to do what I want to do in private.
Yeah.
And so they're like, let's just keep on. It's like a drug for them of like, this used to move magazines.
He needs to do what Daniel Radcliffe used to do, where he would only wear the same outfit out because it would look like it was all on the same day. So eventually the paparazzi gave up. Because they're like, we can't sell these photos anymore.
That'd be too weird for Ben Affleck to do. And he's
That's
a normal
true.
guy. And so he's going to put on the flannel shirt that whichever Jennifer bought for him one Christmas or birthday. And said, now at this point, they're regretting getting it because the shirt he's always wearing at least once a week. He's wearing this stupid shirt. God, Ben Affleck's a man.
I know. So yes, that's what you missed on this week on Ben Watch. A military vehicle was parked outside of his house.
Having nothing to do with him, except for he lives there.
Yeah. And they needed to park their vehicle so that they can investigate the fires.
Next week's Ben Watch, President Donald Trump made some political decisions in Ben's country.
Yeah.
So here's a photo of Ben at a stop sign to go with what Trump did.
Yes. So thank you, TMZ, for your reporting.
In the nation that Ben's a citizen.
We will see you next week.
Yes. I like Ben Watch.
Me too. I'm going to keep up with that. Every time there's an article, we're going to do Ben Watch.
He is, I'd say, as close as a actor can get to being a blue collar worker.
I fully agree.
Like I legitimately am like, I think part of him is like, what I could have worked construction.
Yes.
And I would have been really, really fine with it.
Yes. Life would have been fine for Ben.
Yeah. Like every now and then I'll be like,
he just happens to be talented and he's plagued with talent. He is that movie, the unbearable weight of massive talent.
Yeah. Every now and then I'll think like, I could have just been an accountant and I think I'd be very satisfied with work. I love numbers. Or I could have been like some sort of consultant. I love spreadsheets. Or I could have been, a handyman or something. It's like, I think I'd be satisfied. I'm happy I never did, but I feel like that's a thought he has all the time. I could have worked at Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
And I'd get free donuts.
He'd get free coffee. He'd be so excited.
Yeah. Oh my God. He would love it.
Yeah. Do you have anything?
That's it.
That's it for you?
That's it for the Public Pool Pod?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've gone on probably too long. No,
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Well, you can cut out what else, anything I ever
I
said.
don't want to.
You should one week just cut out almost everything I say. Just see what happens.
Just make it a solo pod with you just sitting there.
Yeah, just me nodding. Or saying yeah. Yeah, I'm allowed to say yeah.
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 Or why.
Why?
Yeah.
Do you tell? Love you guys. Towel off.
Bye. See you next week, besties.